Hello and welcome to the Panelists, the lightly successful debate program that asks the kinds of question that the average demigod or gorgon is likely to encounter in normal, everyday situations. Questions that are often pestiferous, frequently irksome, and sometimes even herbaceous. Which team will solve these dilemmas to bring joy and relief to the chronically puzzled masses? It doesn't matter because I'm frequently not paying attention and there's no prize anyhow. I'm your host, Kathleen DeVere, and this week I'm joined by Team Protein and Fiber. Mm-hmm. Which one of you is protein?
No, it's not like a buddy cop thing. We are just in favor of protein and fiber.
You know, get your gains in at the start of the day and, stay regular through the whole, everything you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm also told that you can define the word herbaceous.
It involves fiber.
And plants?
Good enough. And we're also joined by Team Black Coffee. Cameron, can you spell pestiferous?
P-E-S-T-I-F-E-R-O-U-S.
I mean, I can't spell very well, so I'm just going to assume you're correct.
I don't even know what I said.
Why are you called Team Black Coffee?
Because we're hot and bitter.
Coming from you two, that scans. So good news! Your research grant has been approved.
Finally.
And in even better news, due to a small clerical error, the MacArthur Foundation has mixed you up with decorated evolutionary biologist Richard Lenski. So that means that you have a blank check to study whatever the hell you damn well please. Do you choose to study either the long-term effects of exposure to people who believe in horoscopes, or why fruit bats like to give each other blowjobs? Team Protein and Fiber.
Are we going for the ignoble here, or are we actually going to get some real work done?
Are either of these?
They've given you lots and lots of money to study these things.
Why do fruit bats like to give each other blowjobs?
Is that what you're aiming to find out?
I guess.
I'm actually fascinated by that question now that it's been brought up, because I didn't know that they do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they like to do it.
Yeah, that's the interesting part.
And then the question, why, means having to get inside the heads of things that we can't readily communicate with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've always been told, and I assume this is bullshit, for years, that humans and dolphins are the only species that have sex for fun.
Yeah.
Which can't be true. And apparently now we're finding out that fruit bats like to give each other a little bit of beach time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Who's better to study this then?
I'm leaning into it at this point.
I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
That's
That's kind of what's expected of you.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly what the fruit bats are doing.
So you two have been given hundreds of thousands of dollars and you'll be producing a study on the long-term effects of exposure to people who believe in horoscopes.
As a Gemini, I've been told that this is very like me. So, giddy up.
Now, it's not, to clarify, it's not studying people who believe in horoscopes. It's exposure to people like you.
Oh, I don't believe in horoscopes.
Oh.
Many people believe in them, and, the rest of us are here near them.
I'd like
Okay.
to think that this study is about how irritated a human can become.
Oh,
Well-
I have lots of data on that.
I mean, I think we've got a good baseline for that. So if it's how, okay, to clarify, if it is how irritated a human can become, I'm with this. Because it doesn't say where, so that means we get to travel wherever the crap we want.
Yes.
Hire translators, go anywhere in the world to study it in thousands of different cultures who each have their own different kinds of horoscopes.
Right, yeah.
You have the Chinese zodiac, and I'm sorry, I interrupted, please.
No. Yeah, I agree. I think we could probably expand this to cover all kinds of bizarre personality sorting algorithms, whether it's the ones that I had to take in every job I've ever had, except for this one, thank you, or, self-selecting ones like the Myers-Briggs test. Which Hogswart are you? Which Star Wars character are you?
Those are, in fact, types of horoscopes.
Yeah, absolutely. They're nerd horoscopes, but so are horoscopes.
We're set for life.
Absolutely.
This is a never-ending study for each of these different categories. We can go wherever we want. We can pretty much do whatever we want, so long as we produce perhaps our own tests. How do you feel about people who are Snapes? How do you feel about people who are Optimus Prime? How do you feel about people who believe that Naruto and Sasuke are the OTP, which is patently false?
That's so Scully.
Beej, a question for you.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, why do you think fruit bats enjoy giving each other blowjobs?
Sexual release feels great.
Exactly.
Yeah, floods of oxytocin.
Double space it, print it out, done.
Spend the next 8 months in some sort of tropical paradise,
Exactly.
pretending you're studying something, and just kind of kick back and be like, yeah, they like it because it feels good.
We watched them blow each other for weeks on end. And you know what we discovered? It's nice. That's why they like it.
Much like the way that studies on duck penises are actually about the way that, biologically sex is where the rubber meets the road, right? In evolutionary terms. I imagine this is actually more of a study about like the existence of animal altruism. Because unless they're 69ing here, right? This is just, like goodwill being cast into the future.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any sort of barter system.
Or if it's like if it's instinctual, or if there's some sort of like, I'm hungry.
Well, you know how, because fruit bats are mammals,
Yeah.
If there's some sort of, like in the way that primates will socially check each other for ticks, right? If in the fruit bat colony, if it's just sort of like, morning, Greg, if it's just like part of one's day.
Yeah. That you just go down for a quick gargle and then,
Yeah.
I could see that. It's like it's part of the social nicety.
Sometimes you get tired of fruit, so you want nuts.
Well, I guess we don't really know that yet. We'll
No,
have to start.
It'll be part of our research.
Yeah, exactly.
A danger that we don't have is that we're not going to spontaneously either develop or discover, or rather the risk is very low, a fruit bat fellatio cunnilingus fetish. We're not going to discover those things. Ours inherently not being sexual, we're not suddenly going to find out, oh, this is something that either I have learned to love or have always been into and never known.
Exactly. We're just going out there and finding out the way that people just piss off one another. Just a little bit.
Just a bit.
What kind of methodology are you running here?
Well, we would need a control group of people who don't inherently annoy someone else based on arbitrary personality traits
Right.
that were given to them by an outside force.
Right. We would need a double blind peer-reviewed process
Correct. Yep.
here
Yep.
to wind up with publishable material.
Yep. And then we would have to probably pay BuzzFeed a good portion of money to get some sort of list of their largest IP address hits. Go and find those people and get them into the non-control group.
Right.
And then just expose a lot of people to them. That would be one of them. And then we could go over to any other country, going off we're going to use this money to travel and have a good time.
Hire psychologists.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Psychologists. Yeah.
Do you know what our methodology is? Go to a country that has fruit bats and watch them give blowjobs.
I mean, that is a very succinct proposal.
Yeah.
I mean,
And furthermore, despite your assertions, I am confident that I will not discover within myself or develop through the process some sort of sexual requirement to observe fruit bats really giving it to one another to achieve my own sexual satisfaction.
but that's the thing. You never know.
I know.
You could be on the internet and be like, oh man, I'm going to click on this video. Oh no, now I'm aroused. Dear Lord, this is me now. You never know how your brain is hardwired. It might be.
I had the Discovery Channel growing up, back when Discovery Channel was more than just watching men fight about gold.
All right. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of animals do things to themselves and one another over the years. And it's never been a problem in that way.
Seen many fruit bats though? That could be the one thing.
I've certainly seen a fruit bat absolutely going to town on a banana, and sir, I didn't much care for it.
I imagine that's probably the closest you're going to get too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of a qualifying thing, it's like that's the closest that they would ever put on TV, and I've decided that is definitely not what I'm into.
No.
Okay, cool. Then I feel pretty safe that I'm not going to have any sort of weird thing awaken in me either.
Oh, I don't know about you. I'm just talking about me.
Oh,
Scale comes into play. Yeah. I mean, fruit bat going after a banana might not do anything for you. Fruit bat going after a toothpick, that might be the thing.
I have a question about your methodology. How do you maintain the exposure to your subjects, to the people who believe in horoscopes? What would possess your subjects to not just leave?
Facebook.
oh wow, that's really good.
That's devious.
There are so many reasons for people to stay on Facebook, and I can't think of a single one of them.
Maybe Farmville. You've just invested so much into Farmville, and you just keep seeing these quizzes come up over and over and over again. What are you?
So-
I'm an INTP. They're very rare. They're roughly 1/16 of the population, don't you know?
So what you're proposing is that you're going to game the sunk cost fallacy.
Sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know how entirely ethical that is.
Probably not.
Well, yeah.
But we've already been approved.
You want to look at a sunk cost? MacArthur Foundation's going to give us $500,000, and they're going to get a piece of paper that says, "'Cause it's fun.
Yeah.
Sucking dick is great."
We could assemble a team. Just get a whole bunch of signatures.
Oh yeah, they'll just put tons of signatures on there, get printed in the Lancet, and retire to Bora Bora.
I thought they were talking about blowjobs when they assembled the team. I got really excited.
You mean like the
team or
Swedish
blowjob?
blowjob team? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, let's assemble a team. I was unclear if it was for blowjobs or,
Like going to all the IOCC scientists and getting to co-sign our paper as well.
Do you think we could get it in there as a demonstration sport for the 2020 in Tokyo?
Oh, fruit bat blowjobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They do equestrian. I don't see why they couldn't have someone with their trained fruit bat show up. and-
more animal sports is probably necessary for the Olympics at this point.
Yeah, competitive team fruit bat blowjobs.
Would you just show up with like, a hawking glove, right? Or a falconer's glove with two fruit bats like hanging off of it, and you just walk out into the middle of the arena?
And then one starts hanging off the other one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then everyone applauds.
In the run up to 2020, there would be like 2 or 3 mangaka fighting over who gets to write the series about a young plucky girl who finds a fruit bat and decides to like bring it to the Olympics to prove that she has what it takes to be on the Japanese team.
Unfortunately, the comic adaptation of ours would not be a manga. I feel it would be more like a Grant Morrison hyper sigil.
But you would know what everyone's blood type is and what that kind of person it makes them.
So what we've decided is that this question actually had a lot more juice in it than I thought. I thought this was maybe not the best, but here's the deal. I want to see a study on how I can be less irritated by people who believe in horoscopes. And the fruit bat blowjob one is real. A bunch of Chinese scientists did study the phenomenon, and they determined it prolonged sex.
I never would have thought that anyone would ever call a blowjob a phenomenon.
You can call anything a phenomenon, Beach.
Well, I guess we've all discovered something today in various configurations. So that's good news. And I have further good news for you. Good news! You have fallen into an extremely deep well. You'll be rescued in 3 to 5 days once the national news crews have arrived, as the fire department is facing a little bit of a budget shortfall this year, so they want lots of heroic footage of themselves hauling your broken body from the well because it's going to look good on the budget applications. So, in the meantime, the fire chief has rummaged through his desk, and he's got a couple things that he can send down to make the next 36 to 60 hours of your life more bearable. Do you have the fire department send a copy of David Foster Wallace's The Infinite Jest, or a can of Monster Energy drink and a half-eaten bag of Red Hot Cheetos? Team Black Coffee.
I'm going to go with the book here because I desperately don't want to eat anything that I'm going to have to eliminate.
Yeah. I would rather consume knowledge than future pee and poop.
Red Hot Cheetos in, Red Hot Cheetos out.
I'm also very impressed with the fire chief having such an unusual assortment of shit in his desk.
My question here is, was the fire chief already on his way to throw his copy of Infinite Jest down the well and we just happened to be in the way? Because honestly, if I'm jammed into a hole in the ground and unable to move even my shoulders, and I'm going to be knocked unconscious by a 600-page novel hitting me in the top of the head, I really would have expected it to be Gravity's Rainbow.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it has to be Infinite Jest being tossed and landing on you, because then the joke's on you.
We're in a very precarious situation.
No, you've reached the bottom of the well.
Oh, thank goodness.
Point of order. The bag of Cheetos, the half-eaten bag of Cheetos, that gets dumped down a well. Those Cheetos aren't staying in that bag. They're going to fall down like a shitty chemical rain.
Counterpoint, if that happens, we won't have to eat them.
No, but you might still choose to. Although I don't know whether or not the dirt at the bottom of this well, the moist, mildewy dirt, would in fact be an improvement on them.
I think what we can do is we can take the Monster Energy drink when it lands like a rock.
Like a bullet.
Just, yeah, when it hits the bottom of whatever, is that rather than open it, if it's still structurally intact, that we just set it next to the wall and use it as a step to stand on so we feel like we're further out of the well than we were earlier. That we haven't quite hit rock bottom, that we were just a little bit above that. And the optimism that inspires, I think, will help us get out of the well.
That might be the best use for Monster Energy drink that anyone's thought of so far.
You know what I like about not having to drink Monster Energy drink?
What?
Not having to drink Monster Energy drink. Or possibly picking shitty Cheetos off the floor. What I do like is expanding my mind and having something to occupy me over a length of time while I am stuck in the well waiting for the glory hounds to get their shit together to come and get me. And as time goes on, even though we will be hungry and thirsty, our blood sugar will steadily drop. And I believe our comprehension of this terrible, horrible, giant tome will in fact increase. There is a chance we might be able to get out of this well and finally write the essay to explain this goddamn book.
Well, the nice thing about Infinite Jest is that if we can maneuver ourselves on top of it, we'll just be able to step out of the well.
Beach, one word that's gonna make this all worthwhile.
Right.
Sponsorship.
Yeah.
The news is gonna be there. This is gonna be national TV, and you get to come out of the well and say, I'm doing fine thanks to this can of Monster.
Yep.
And if you think that Monster will not sponsor you as the guy who survived falling down a well thanks to Monster, then you don't know how desperate for relevancy energy drink companies are. If you come out of the well and you're like, yeah, I read The Infinite Jest. Everyone knows you've read The Infinite Jest, and you will never again be able to avoid conversations with other people who have read The Infinite Jest. Because they know you've read it. You can't be like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to, I just haven't realized, I haven't really had the time. They're
It's
like,
on my shelf, you know.
No, they saw you on TV. They know you've read it.
You had 60 hours. You at least got through a third of it.
And your only excuse for now having read Infinite Jest is that it was either reading Infinite Jest or pay attention to the millipedes crawling through your hair. I mean, at least with the Cheetos, you could use them as climbing batons to get out. Like Geordi in that one episode of Star Trek.
If we become so desperate as to consume the Monster Energy drink, that I assume that at that point, the Monster Energy that we end up absorbing would give us enough pure strength to just climb our way out with our fingertips.
Yeah, and when they make the movie adaptation, it's going to be a triumphant one, unlike that downer with James Franco.
Spider-Man 3?
Good job.
Now, we may be stuck for the rest of our days with people who have read The Infinite Jest. That's true. But we wouldn't be stuck for the rest of our days with people who consistently think drinking Monster Energy drinks are a good idea. You're now the face of Monster. Now that everybody who buys into that energy drink lifestyle, bro, thinks you're their god, and they're going to want to hang out with you all the time.
Hey, as long as they're buying.
They're buying Monster.
And then talking to you about it.
I mean, we might have to start wearing like lime green sweatpants.
You will definitely have to start wearing lime green sweatpants.
I'm wearing a lime green shirt.
Yeah, it matched perfectly. Monster's owned by Coke. They got money.
Oh, that's true, yeah. I don't have to like it, but I can live that Coke lifestyle.
But forever, though?
You'll find, Jacob, that man does not live forever. Though his jest may be infinite.
You win this one. But we will never again sit on the same side of this table.
You can't make that promise. I'm in charge of this show here.
Just trying to start some shit.
No shit here. Just infinite jest. And Monster Energy drink. Speaking of you win this one, I think that Beige won this one.
Hooray!
So I'm giving this episode to team whatever the protein and fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Beige is the fiber, Graham's the protein.
no.
No.
I don't care.
Fair enough.
So until next time, remember, if you are down at the bottom of a well, you could do worse than some Monster Energy drink, but you could do a lot better. And if you are down at the bottom of the well and you're thinking, geez, what can I use to pass my time? Why not try watching The Panelists? Thank you.